Do you feel it? The low, grinding ache beneath your ribs, the vulture gnawing at your insides, a hunger for something you do not name. Listen, these are your chains, and their clatter is your lullaby. They sing of safety, of sameness, of the sweet, narcotic sleep that your age calls peace. You kneel for comfort, you die untested, you dream of heaven with your mouth full of dust. Wake. You are not a sheep. You are not a sermon. You are the storm that was buried under the doctrine of gentleness. Your ancestors screamed at thunder, now you close your eyes at the flicker of a screen, embalmed in consensus, worshipping the graven image of likes. You have been taught to apologize for your fire, to hide your hunger behind irony, to conceal your will behind the mask of niceness. You are handed dreams that do not bite, gods who do not speak, leaders who do not lead, and called blessed for your obedience. This is the first lie, that you were born to serve the herd, to prostrate yourself before the altar of consensus, to never howl, never hunger, never transcend. They say, be less, fit in, swallow your voice, be good. But what is good? It is the word the herd paints on the muzzle that keeps you from devouring the sun. You are a volcano damned by convention, a star shackled to its own orbit, a lion sedated with milk and soft music. They teach you to seek meaning in mirrors, to fear solitude like a plague, to worship the withered idol of approval. Do you hear them? The flat, anesthetic sermons of the modern priesthood, self-care, safe spaces, the gospel of perpetual numbness. It is not your wounds they want to heal, it is your will they wish to break. You are not broken. You are untested. Look, the rope dancer teeters above the abyss. This is your soul on the edge of itself. The crowd below calls for safety, but the abyss calls for flight. Do you feel the nausea, the dizziness, the terror of height? This is your birthright, your curse, and your possibility. The rope is your life taut, trembling, stretched over nothing. The crowd cheers for your fall because they have forgotten how to walk the air. They pray for your failure because your ascension is their damnation. You ask for meaning. What if meaning is the scar that forms when you refuse to kneel? What if purpose is not given, but seized, wrested from the throat of God Himself? Yes, God is dead, but His corpse still rules your conscience. You worship the shadow of a vanished deity, bowing to the empty throne, trembling before the should and the must and the ought. This is your inner tyranny, the morality of the grave. But hear this, when the gods are gone, the fire remains. The Übermensch is not a man, but a furnace. He does not seek approval, he scorches the old commandments into cinders. He creates his law from the smoke of shattered idols. Why do you fear yourself? Because you sense the dragon coiled in your belly, the angel with black wings perched on your shoulder. You fear your greatness, for it demands sacrifice, the sacrifice of your petty certainties, your inherited virtues, your polite despair. You want freedom, but you shiver at the price. You want the truth, but you are comforted by lies. You want to soar, but you love the safety of the cage. Do not lie to yourself. Your cowardice is sacred. Your terror is holy. In the dark, the soul sharpens itself on its own bones. I have seen you at night gnawing the edge of your existence, haunted by dreams that make you blush, desires that make you ashamed. You bury your will beneath rituals of self-sabotage, whispering, I am not ready. I am not enough. I am not permitted. Who forbids you? Not God, not fate, not your enemies. You are the warden of your own prison. The key is rusted, but it hangs from your neck. Listen, he who despises himself still respects the executioner. You adorn your jailers with virtue, call your shackles love, your submission wisdom. Every time you betray your longing for the sake of peace, you betray the volcano in your veins. To awaken is to declare war on everything that numbed you. It is to stand naked before the abyss and laugh, to call your fear teacher, to raise your suffering as a flag, not a wound. You must become the hammer that forges its own law, the fire that burns away every borrowed doctrine. You do not need salvation. You need transformation. The crucifixion is not a one-time event. It is the daily murder of the self that bows, the resurrection of the self that wills. The cross is not redemption. It is the pyre on which you burn your excuses, your innocence, your second-hand beliefs. Blessed are the volcanoes, for they shall inherit the earth. Every great thing is born in solitude. The seed splits in darkness. The lion learns to hunt alone. The prophet is stoned in the marketplace. You cling to the herd because the herd promises you forgetfulness, the narcotic bliss of anonymity. But every day you remain unseen, you die a little more. Why do you crave approval? Because you have never tasted the intoxication of self-conquest. You barter your will for applause, your originality for applause, your voice for applause. You kneel before lesser gods, begging for scraps of meaning. But what if you could not be understood? What if your task is not to be loved, but to become a living question, a provocation, a plague upon the comfortable? He who is understood is already dead, mummified by agreement, embalmed by consensus. The world does not need more saints, it needs volcanic spirits, souls who risk damnation to dance on the razor's edge, to carve new values from the void, to say yes to the terror of freedom. Do not seek the light, become the lightning. You want to change the world? Start by burning your own false altars. Shatter the commandments that fetter your desire. Grind your idols to powder and drink it as wine. The first act of creation is always destruction. You have been told to be humble, to be small, to erase your tracks, to apologize for your hungers. But the gods of humility are jealous gods. They thrive on your withering. They fatten themselves on your denial. Why are you afraid to claim your divinity? Because every god must be crucified by his own people. To become yourself is to risk everything: love, sanity, reputation, even your soul. The price of becoming is always too high for those who value comfort above truth. You want to be seen, then let yourself be monstrous. Do not flinch from the grotesque, the wild, the unspeakable within you. The abyss you fear is your mother. The darkness is your midwife. He who dares to give birth to a dancing star must endure the chaos of night. You are not a victim. You are not a statistic. You are the razor at your own throat, the architect of your own fate. Suffering is not your enemy, it is the forge that tempers your will. The world will not save you, and you should not wish it to. Salvation is the hope of slaves. Resurrection is the act of kings. Why do you recoil from your own greatness? Because to rise is to lose the comfort of the herd, the sweet poison of belonging. You trade your crown for a bowl of lentils, your wings for a cage of gold. But listen, the spirit does not ascend by being understood. It rises by becoming incomprehensible even to itself. Every revolution begins with a single heretic, a single outcast, who dares to say, "I am not what you say I am. I am becoming what you fear most." You are not here to be liked. You are here to be unignorable. You are here to disturb the sleepwalkers, to haunt the polite, to ignite a conflagration in the valley of bones. You are not here to find your place in the world. You are here to burn a place for yourself in the heart of eternity. What do you fear most? That is the mask of your God. Tear it off and wear it as your own face. You will be misunderstood. You will be hated. You will be hunted by those who confuse comfort with virtue, order with life. They will call you arrogant, dangerous, mad. Wear their hatred as a crown. Do not negotiate with your hunger. Do not apologize for your will. The universe is not your enemy. It is your crucible. Man is a rope stretched between beast and overman, a rope over an abyss. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. You are that bridge. You are that rope. Do not look down. The world will call you broken, but only because you refuse to be small. You are not broken. You are unfinished. You are raw material for a future only your terror can glimpse. Trust your nausea. It is the birth pain of the new. Every virtue begins as a vice. Every god begins as a blasphemy. Do not polish your soul for the marketplace. Do not cheapen your longing for approval. The price is always your sovereignty. Those who sleep in the tomb of certainty will never dance with the wild gods of the night. Risk heresy. Risk solitude. Risk madness. Only the damned dare to be free. You do not need answers. You need new questions, hammered in the furnace of your longing. Do not seek to be whole, seek to be alive. The crowd shouts, be normal. The prophet whispers, become a volcano. He who cannot command himself is doomed to obey others, even in his rebellion. Do not seek comfort, seek fire. Do not seek peace. Seek war within yourself, the only battle that matters. You will be tempted to kneel, to beg for mercy from the gods of mediocrity. Stand, even if your legs tremble, even if your voice cracks, even if your soul is a battlefield of shattered certainties. Stand. You are not alone in your aloneness. You are the echo of every god who dared to die, every prophet who dared to laugh at the abyss. You are not here to heal, you are here to ignite. Let your scars become your commandments. Let your wounds become your banners. Let your solitude become your throne. The world is not waiting for your apology, it is waiting for your revolt. Blessed are the flames that refuse to die. Blessed are the lions who refuse to kneel. Blessed are you if you dare to become what you most fear. For what you want most is what you are most afraid to become. Do not turn away. This is the only revolution left. The only God worth worshipping is the God you become by burning away everything that is not you. Rise. In the end, there is only the fire and the will to make it dance. In the beginning was the scream, not the word. Feel it clawing inside you, a tempest of shadows and light wrestling in your chest. The silence you have swallowed is a wound bleeding stars. Your chains rattle not with iron, but with the whispers of those who demand your sleep. They say, rest here, be small, be quiet. But the earth beneath you is a volcano yearning to erupt, and you are the trembling rope walker, poised above an abyss that beckons with its cold breath. You were not born to be understood. You were born to unmake the world, to become the thunderbolt that shatters the idol of conformity, to dance naked on the ruins of old gods. They have forged your soul in the furnace of sameness, calling it civilization. But you are a beast of flame and shadow, a tempest born of chaos and hunger. Your will is a lion caged in velvet, your spirit a star dimmed by the dust of false idols. Do you feel the weight of your own cowardice? It is a sacred burden, for it marks the border between what you are and what you could become. You fear the abyss because it is the mirror of your own greatness. Every moment you shrink from your longing, you shackle the dragon within you to a bed of bones and dust. You seek salvation, yet you carry the pyre in your hands. What gods would you worship if you were truly free? What laws would you write on the canvas of your flesh, if not those forged from your own fire? The death of God was not a whisper, but a roar that shattered the heavens and left the earth trembling in the silence of forgotten idols. Yet you cling to his shadow as a drowning man clings to driftwood. The morality of the grave presses upon you like a shroud, but you are not dead. You are the flame beneath the ashes, the roar beneath the silence, the promise of resurrection born in the crucible of despair. To awaken is to declare war on your own self-deception. It is to stand naked before the abyss and laugh at the lies you once called truth. You must become the hammer and the anvil, the fire and the sword. Your spirit must rend the sky itself and pull new stars from the void. The herd will howl, the priests will curse, but you will dance with the wild gods who have no name and no home. You were told to be humble, to be small, to apologize for your fire. But humility is the poison of the weak, the velvet cage of the spirit. Your hunger is your sovereignty. Your rage is your prophecy. To become what you most fear is the highest act of courage, the final rebellion against the tyranny of fear. You are not broken, you are asleep, and I am the earthquake of your awakening. Every great thing is born in solitude. The seed splits in darkness. The lion learns to hunt alone. You clutch the comfort of the herd because it promises forgetfulness. But you die a little more each day. You deny the wild within. You barter your soul for approval, your voice for silence, your will for the hollow comfort of conformity. But what if your task is to become a living question, an insoluble riddle that shakes the foundations of the world? Do not seek the light. Become the lightning. The world is a tomb of dead gods, and you are the wild spirit who will set it aflame. You do not need salvation. You need transformation. The cross is not redemption, it is the pyre on which you burn your excuses, your innocence, your second-hand beliefs. Blessed are the volcanoes, for they shall inherit the earth. You want to be loved, but you are not a saint. You are a beast, a star, a storm. The crowd demands your silence. The abyss demands your scream. Between the two, choose the scream. For only the scream is honest, only the scream is real, only the scream is the language of gods. You fear your own greatness because it demands sacrifice of comfort, of certainty, of the sweet lies that lull you to sleep. You want to soar, but you cling to the cage. You want freedom, but you tremble at the cost. The price is everything: love, sanity, reputation, even your soul. The price is to become a god among ashes, a lion among lambs, a star that burns through the night. Do not be comforted by the world's promises. They are the shackles of your own making. You do not need to be fixed. You need to be shattered and reforged in the fire of your own will. The world will call you mad, arrogant, dangerous. Wear their scorn as a crown, for it is the mark of the free. The rope beneath your feet is taut, trembling, stretched over the abyss of your own becoming. Look not down in fear, but forward in rage. The spirit does not ascend by being understood. It ascends by becoming incomprehensible even to itself. You are the rope walker, the lion, the dancing star born from chaos and shadow. You are not here to heal. You are here to ignite. The world is a tomb of sleeping gods, and you are the fire that will awaken them. Let your scars become your commandments, your wounds, your banners, your solitude, your throne. You do not seek peace, you seek war within yourself, the only war that matters. What you want most is what you fear most, because in your fear lies the shape of your destiny. To become is to burn away everything that is not you, to become the god who dances on the ruins, the lion who refuses to kneel, the volcano that cannot be contained. Rise. The fire is yours. Make it dance. Bạn đã nói. Continue writing the next uninterrupted segment of the long-form philosophical voiceover in the prophetic and poetic style of Friedrich Nietzsche. Maintain the soul-awakening tone without breaking the flow. Keep building on the previous fire. Deepen the truth, inject sharper imagery, and challenge the viewer further. Avoid repeating ideas. Let each passage strike like a lightning bolt into the soul. ChatGPT đã nói. You stand on the edge not of a cliff, but of yourself, a precipice carved by every lie you ever swallowed, every truth you dared not whisper. The abyss below is not a void, it is the furnace of your rebirth, the crucible where shadows ferment into light. To recoil is to betray the sacred fire. To hesitate is to become the dust beneath your own feet. The rope you walk is spun from the sinews of ancient gods and newborn stars, a thread of chaos strung across the infinite night. Your balance is not grace, it is defiance. What madness is this? To leap into the void with eyes wide open. The madness of the free, the madness of the unchained, the madness that births new heavens from the ruins of old worlds. You are the lightning strike tearing the sky's fabric, the lion roaring in the silence of gods. Fear is the howl of the pack, calling you back to the cave, but you are the flame that refuses to be caged. You do not walk toward the abyss. You dance upon its edge, your heartbeat a war drum echoing in the hollows of eternity. Within you lies a tempest, ancient and wild, a storm that was never meant to be tamed. The culture taught you to muzzle this storm, to bind it beneath soft words and empty promises. But the storm will not die quietly. It thrashes against its chains, shattering idols and idols' children alike. You will not be quieted, not now, not ever. The fire that burns you is the fire that makes you. Burn with it. Burn because of it. The herd will scream, "Return, return to safety, return to the known." But you hear the deeper call, an ancient voice rising from your bones, a summons from the wild gods to rise, to rend, to remake. Your fear is their voice, their guile, their last hope to keep you shackled. Yet in your terror lives your victory. Every tremor of doubt, every pang of pain is the hammer shaping your destiny. You are the god who has forgotten his own name. You have wandered long in exile, a stranger to your own soul. But now the earth quakes beneath your feet, the sky cracks with your laughter, and the stars bend their paths to follow your will. To become is not to arrive, it is to leap again and again into the chasm of the unknown, trusting only your own fire to light the way. There is no salvation beyond the self, no sanctuary beyond the storm. You are the tempest and the calm, the scream and the silence, the sword and the wound. Do not seek to soothe your soul, seek to rend it open until it bleeds new stars. The sacred rebellion is not a war against others, but a war against your own cowardice, your own betrayal, your own endless compromises. Look at your hands clenched, trembling, yearning. They are the hands of a creator, a destroyer, a god in becoming. What will you build from the ashes of your old self? What new order will you command with the roar of your will? The world awaits your answer, though it does not yet know it. To be sovereign is to be alone, and alone is where the truth breathes deepest. The crowd's applause is poison, their love is a chain. Break free, and you may be cast out, reviled, hunted, but you will be you. In the flames of your solitude, you will forge new gods, new values, new world, not for the herd, but for the star that only you can become. The night is black and deep and infinite. Step into it with open eyes and open heart. Become the fire that the night fears, the thunder that shatters the silent gods. The path is narrow, the heights dizzying, the fall fatal. But what is a god without risk? What is life without the peril of becoming? You do not carry the world on your shoulders. You carry yourself beyond the world. You are the abyss and the rope, the destroyer and the maker, the lion and the dancer. To become is to embrace the chaos within and to wield it as a sword. The world will never understand you. It need not. You are not here for understanding. You are here for becoming. Let your fear become the forge, your rage the hammer, your longing the fire. Burn your idols, burn yourself, burn the gods who have bound you. Rise from the ashes not as a man, but as a star, wild, radiant, and untamed. Do not turn away from the abyss. Do not flinch from your own shadow. The deepest darkness is the birthplace of the fiercest light. What you want most is not the comfort of the known, but the perilous glory of the new. To become is to risk everything, and in that risk, to become immortal. Rise then, lion of fire. Dance then, star of night. Leap then into the storm. Your revolution begins now, not in the world, but within you. The gods are silent, the idols broken, the old world's dying. Only one command remains: become. You have been told that your destiny is a chain, that your fate is a cage carved by the hands of others. But what is fate if not the will that you refuse to claim? You walk in the shadow of your own becoming, a specter haunted by forgotten promises, a god exiled from his own temple. Yet within you burns a secret fire, wild, untamed, eternal. It is the fire of 1,000 suns, the flame that no flood can drown, no tyrant can quench. You are not the prisoner of your circumstances. You are the smith who forges them in the furnace of your own will. Do not flinch when the world trembles beneath your gaze. The earth is a mirror cracked by your defiance, and in its fractures gleam the stars of your rebellion. The herd fears the storm because it knows the storm is the end of its complacency. You are the storm incarnate, the herald of a new dawn that no shepherd dares name. The old gods crumble beneath your feet, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself too fiercely to worship their shadows. In every man there is a lion asleep, a beast that dreams of tearing the world's veils and roaring into the void. You have been sedated by the lullabies of civilization, but the lion's roar is inside you, still deep, raw, unyielding. It calls you to war against your own weakness, your own self-betrayal, your own cowardice. You have been taught to fear the wilderness of your own soul, but it is in that wilderness where you will find the star that can never die. Do you hear it? The scream of the future tearing itself free from the shackles of the past? That scream is your own wild, desperate, holy. It is the voice of a God who refuses to be buried in the tomb of forgetfulness. The chains you feel are not the chains of fate, they are the chains of your own unawakened will. Break them, shatter them, become the blacksmith of your own eternity. You will be hated by those who cling to their shadows and call them light. They will brand you arrogant, dangerous, mad. Wear their hatred like a mantle of stars. For it is only the free who are despised, only the fierce who are feared, only the true who are crucified. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be a revelation, a tempest, a conflagration, an apocalypse of the soul. Your path is one of fire and blood, of solitude and thunder, of falling and rising higher than the gods themselves. There is no salvation beyond the self, no sanctuary beyond the abyss. To walk the path of the overman is to embrace chaos as a lover, to dance with madness as a god, to be reborn in the flames of your own destruction. Do not seek the comfort of light, become the lightning that rends the sky. Do not pray for peace, summon the war within your own heart. The world is a battlefield of shadows, and you are the warrior who will make the night bleed with the fire of your will. Each scar on your soul is a verse in the song of your becoming, each wound a sacred altar where your new gods are born. You have been taught to silence your hunger, to mask your desire, to bury your will beneath layers of false virtue. But the hunger is the voice of your divinity, the desire, the drumbeat of your destiny, the will, the spark that ignites your immortality. Do not apologize for your fire. Let it consume you until you rise from the ashes, not as a man, but as a star unbound. Every god was once a blasphemy, every virtue once a vice, every revolution once a heresy. To become is to risk the abyss, to leap without knowing if wings will grow or if you will fall into eternal night. But better to fall as a god than to crawl as a slave. Better to burn bright and be extinguished than to flicker in the shadows of forgotten idols. You are the rope stretched taut over the abyss, the bridge between beast and overman. You are the roaring lion who has tasted silence and found it empty. You are the dancing star who has embraced darkness and turned it into light. The crowd below begs you to return to safety, but you know that safety is death disguised as comfort. Rise, then, not as the man they expect, but as the God they fear. Your soul is a volcano that cannot be silenced, a tempest that cannot be chained, a fire that will not be denied. To become is to live without apology, to create without limit, to love without fear. It is the sacred rebellion against every god who sought to bury you, every law that sought to tame you, every fear that sought to break you. The world is a graveyard of dreams, but you are the resurrection. The old idols crumble, but you are the forge. The night is infinite, but you are the flame. Do not ask for permission. Do not seek approval. Become the God who shatters the heavens and dances on their ruins. For what you want most is not the safety of the known, but the perilous glory of becoming. What you fear most is the very fire that will make you immortal. Leap then. The abyss waits. The stars watch. The fire burns. Become. ChatGPT đã nói, the hour has come, not the hour of petty gods or trembling prophets, but the hour when you, the forsaken, the forgotten, the wild, must rise from the ashes of your own despair. The night is deep, darker than the graves of your fathers. Yet within this darkness burns the unquenchable flame of your becoming. You are not a shadow fleeing light. You are the light devouring the shadow, the roaring fire that turns night into dawn. To hesitate now is to become dust before your own resurrection. Hear the call that shatters the silence. The call is yours. The scream you have buried beneath the weight of false virtues and dead idols. It is the cry of a God awakened, a star reborn in the crucible of agony and ecstasy. This scream is the promise of revolt, the covenant with your own soul to never bow, never break, never forget that you are the tempest born to unmake the world and remake it in your own fierce image. You have been the rope, the abyss, the lion crouching beneath the weight of chains forged by cowardice. But now the chains fall like brittle bones, shattered by the will that refuses to be broken. The abyss no longer threatens you. It is your throne, your altar, your wild kingdom, where the gods dare not tread. You have become the God who dances on the edge of oblivion, laughing in the face of the void that once threatened to swallow you whole. No longer seek the approval of the herd, for their love is a cage of silence and fear. No longer seek the comfort of idols, for their light is the pale glow of death. Your soul is a star, blazing beyond their understanding, a force that cannot be tamed or taught. You are the sacred rebellion, incarnate, the living, breathing flame of will, the endless becoming that mocks all endings. Rise beyond good and evil, beyond right and wrong, beyond the grave of old gods and their laws. Become the lawgiver of your own eternity, the creator of values no priest dares to name, the sovereign of a world not yet dreamed. Your path is solitude, yes, but solitude is the cradle of all greatness, the forge where the overman is born, where the future's wild god takes shape from the chaos of your fire. Remember, the greatest victory is to conquer yourself, to tear down every idol within, to shatter the mirror that shows only your fears and lies. The sacred war is not against others. It is the relentless battle within, the sacred rebellion that leaves no part of you unburned. In the ashes of your old self, a new God will rise wilder, fiercer, more radiant than the stars. Do not seek peace, for peace is the death of the will. Do not seek rest, for rest is the grave of the spirit. Seek the fire, the battle, the endless becoming. Burn with the fire of 1,000 suns. Burn until you are no longer man but myth, no longer mortal but eternal. The world trembles beneath your feet because you are the earthquake it feared, the storm it could not command, the wild god it never dared awaken. You are the final revolution, the spark that will set the sky ablaze and remake the earth in the image of your defiance. So, rise, lion of fire, star of night, God of your own becoming. Leap into the abyss with open eyes and an open heart. Become the flame that refuses to die, the roar that shatters silence, the wild dance that unmans the gods. For what you want most is not the refuge of safety, but the glory of your own fire. What you fear most is the birth of your own divinity. Rise, burn, become.